You ever met someone so bold, so fearless, so unbothered by consequences that you wonder if they're entirely human? Someone who walks up to power, gives it the middle finger, and then writes a song about it? Yeah, that was Fela. And this is not just a book review. This is the story of a man who turned his entire life into a revolution. A saxophone-blazing, waist-gyrating, government-punching, polygamy-defending revolution. And the best part? He told this story himself. Well, kind of. Let me take you on a ride. So picture this. It's Nigeria, 1970s. Military boots on the ground, corruption in every corner, and one man with a saxophone decides he's had enough. He builds his own nation inside a nation and names it the Kalakuta Republic. No, seriously. He declared it sovereign territory. This man is Fela Anikulapo-Kuti, a name that literally means he who holds death in his pouch. And when I say this man was fearless, I mean the government threw his mother out of a window, and even that didn't shut him up. Now before all this, Fela was a pretty regular musician. Jazz, high life, you know, the kind of stuff you play in smoky Lagos nightclubs to make people sway politely. Then he goes to America and something happens. He meets a woman named Sandra. Sandra introduces him to the Black Panther Party and Malcolm X, and boom, the polite saxophonist dies. A new creature is born. Afrobeat, political, loud, raw, furious. Suddenly every note he plays is war. He sings Zombie and the military loses it. Vagabonds in power, VIP, ITT, international thief. Not metaphors, not symbols. Think a man like this came from the streets, right? Nope. Fela's family? Educated, elite. His father was a strict reverend. His mother, Funmilayo Ransome-Kuti, was a political force. First Nigerian woman to drive a car, first to visit the USSR, East Berlin, China. A literal feminist pioneer. She organized women, fought colonial powers, and raised hell when necessary. His siblings, medical doctors, nurses, serious professionals. And Fela? He chose chaos. Beautiful, deliberate chaos. He believed he was in a bhikkhu. Let's talk about the Kalakuta Republic. Imagine a compound where musicians, dancers, wanderers, and random souls all live together like a family. Fela was their leader, protector, provider, and yes, their husband, all 27 of them, at once, in one ceremony. The government, not a fan. In 1977, they raided Kalakuta, brutally. His women were beaten and raped. His studio and home were burnt to the ground, and his mother, thrown from a window. She would later die from the injuries. Fela was broken. Not immediately, but something changed. This fearless lion started turning inward. He began talking to spirits. He believed his mother was still guiding him. He became more mystical, less grounded. Still fighting, but softer, sadder. Now, everything I've just told you, every story, every beat, every spiritual twist and political punch, it's all in this book, Fela, This of a Life by Carlos Moore. This is not your average biography. This is Fela in print form. And I don't mean the polished, academic, sterilized version of Fela. No, this book speaks the way Fela spoke. It's written in the first person, in his voice, in his rhythm, F-bombs and all. It reads like one long, blazing, unfiltered interview. Carlos Moore, the author, doesn't try to polish it. He doesn't add fluff. He lets Fela talk. Sometimes brilliant, sometimes contradictory, sometimes just wild. And that's the beauty. Fela is allowed to be fully human. A genius, a madman, a lover, a fighter, a broken son, a spiritualist, a revolutionary, a man who danced shirtless while confronting the president, then cried to his dead mother the next morning. Now, the edition I read, it has what's called the Black Pages. These are the sections where Fela speaks with his dead mother. It's spiritual, eerie, and strangely touching. And then, there's the part that truly surprised me. Interviews with his wives. Now, we've all read those bitter tell-all books where ex-partners tear down the subject. Not here. These women speak with clarity, but also love. Even as they talk about how hard it was, how Fela couldn't always care for them, they stayed. Through raids, through poverty, through fame and decline. It's not a defense of polygamy. It's just real, honest, unfiltered. like the rest of the book. So what do I think? This isn't just a biography, it's history, it's resistance, it's a spiritual confession, a jazz solo that starts smooth and ends with the horns screaming. And Carlos Moore, the man behind this book? Carlos is a Cuban-born ethnologist and writer. He was exiled from Cuba for criticizing Castro's racial policies. This man knows something about oppression and exile. He holds 2 PhDs, one in human sciences, the other in ethnology, and he's worked in African, Caribbean, and Latin American studies for decades. It was during his time in Lagos for Festac 77 that he met Fela, and it was Fela who later summoned him back, when life felt like it was slipping away, to write this book. So should you read Fela, this of a life? Absolutely, but only if you're ready. Ready for fire, for rage, for love, for a man who refused to be controlled, even as the world tried to break him. This isn't bedtime reading. This is wake up and question everything reading. It's the kind of book that rattles your bones, makes you laugh, makes you angry, and makes you want to turn your life into something bold. And if nothing else, you'll leave knowing that music, real music, can be a weapon, a sermon, a scream. And Fela was all 3. If you've read the book, let me know what hit you the hardest. And if you haven't, go get it. Read it, sit with it, and then come back and tell me if you're the same person after. Until next time, stay curious, stay defiant, and maybe put on some Afrobeat while you're at it. Peace. Hey, thanks so much for hanging out with me today. If you're interested in diving deeper into this book, I've left some links down in the description. You can use it to grab yourself a copy and keep the adventure going. And if you're in the mood for more great reads, don't go just yet. Click on one of the videos popping up right now that I think you'll love. And don't forget to give this review a like, leave a comment, or even subscribe if you'd like to see more. Every bit of support helps us grow this little community of book lovers. See you in the next one.